I spent 7 days trying to learn how to juggle 4 balls. I already knew how to juggle 3, and to prove it, I was going to do it for 30 seconds straight. Okay, maybe I wasn't as good as I thought. So for the first part of this challenge, I needed to get good at juggling 3 balls. My goal was to be able to do it for 30 seconds straight. Simple. For some reason, I decided to try it without any instructions at all. And just like the last video, that was a terrible idea. Ow. I quickly realized that I had no clue what I was doing. So I watched a few tutorials, and here's what I learned. You have to keep your feet parallel to each other, keep your elbows against your body, and try to keep each hand around the same space. If you move your body around too much, you will lose control of the throws, which is exactly what I was doing before. Now, the tutorial I watched said you should start with 1 ball and then 2, then 3. I didn't have that kind of time, so I just started with 3. When practicing with 1 ball, the goal is to keep it on the same height and the same plane. So that's what I worked on since I was complete garbage with 3 balls. I made a 1. I meant 3. Once you get good with that, you start practicing with 2 balls. Except instead of throwing them like this, you throw them like this. So I practiced, and I'm not gonna lie, it got very frustrating. Damn it. No. After practicing for about 30 minutes, I felt confident enough to move to the next step. This time, while holding 3 balls, I was going to practice throwing each of them once. Good. Not good. And of course, it got frustrating. But the more I practiced, the better I got. Once I got comfortable with a certain number of throws, I would just increase it by 1 and then work on it until I got comfortable with that. And then for some reason, when I got comfortable with 6 throws, I decided it was a good idea to go from that to 20. It was not. So after failing at that for a bunch of times, of course, I went back to basics for a few minutes. And when I went back to 3 balls again, by some stroke of magic, I was really good at it. Ooh, that was good! That was good! I felt like I was finally ready to try doing it for 30 seconds again. Man, I fucking hate this shit, bro. Fuck. And to my surprise, I managed to do it. But it wasn't clean though. I just wasn't happy with it. So I took a long break. I reflected on my life choices, thought about where I'd be if I wasn't trying to be a YouTuber. And then I realized I'd be an accountant. I hate accounting. So later that night, I tried again.
Got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all.
Yes! my god! Yeah, ow, ow! Lesson learned. Don't celebrate too hard. Now don't get it twisted, learning how to juggle 3 balls was hard, but it is nothing compared to juggling 4 balls. The next day, I learned my lesson and I started by watching a tutorial. And no, I didn't shower, that's why I'm wearing the same t-shirt. I was very excited to get started. So here's what I learned. You basically hold the same posture as before, the only difference is that you're juggling 2 balls with each hand. And it's almost impossible to do that when your left hand is as useless as mine is. Now the first drill is simply to throw and catch 1 ball with the same hand while making an ellipse. Then you practice the same thing while holding another ball in the same hand. Then it starts to get interesting. While holding 2 balls, you try and make 2 throws. Then you slowly start increasing the number of throws the more you get comfortable with it. 1, 2. I set my goal at making 10 throws with each hand. I was able to do it with my right hand pretty quickly. After that, I got pretty comfortable with juggling with my right hand. Then it was time to practice with my left. And this was rough. But after some practice, surprisingly, I managed to do it. Now this made me feel like I was already good at juggling with my left hand. Except I wasn't. Even though I was making lots of throws, they were still all over the place. In order to juggle 4 balls, you have to make sure that each hand doesn't interfere with one another. If one hand is moving too much like my left hand was, it will interfere with the other hand while juggling. So I needed to get really good with juggling with my left hand, and the only way to do that is through practice. So that's exactly what I did. Now every time I felt like I was getting good with my left hand, I would juggle with my right and I would realize that nope, I'm just not this good with my left. So I kept practicing. There were good moments. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, let's go! Yeah! And there were bad moments. Many bad moments. However, one thing I did notice was that when juggling with my left hand, it helped when I kept bouncing with my whole body to maintain the rhythm. I tried using that to get more comfortable with juggling, and it kinda worked. So on day 4, I wanted to be able to juggle 4 balls at least 20 times. There was only one problem. I kept procrastinating. I convinced myself that I still wasn't good enough with my left hand. I just needed to practice more and more. Honestly, I think that was a mistake. Looking back, I think I was just scared to practice a move that I wasn't good at. So I ended day 4 without even attempting to juggle 4 balls. Day 5 started with me making 30 throws with each hand. This got me very excited. Let's go! I wasn't so reliant on bouncing with my body anymore, so I was confident, which meant it was time to attempt the 4-ball juggle. And I was scared for some reason. I just kept hesitating. My brain didn't want to do this. Holy moly, what the fuck? But one thing I do know is that whenever you're in a scenario like this, the solution is to just do something. So with all 4 balls in my hands, I just started doing 1 throw. Then I did 2, and then 3, and so on and so forth. Let's go. Ah, man, what the fuck?
Check.
Oh! And then somehow I managed to do 10 throws.
Check.
Unfortunately, that was my peak. On day 6, I hit a plateau. And honestly, not a lot happened on this day. Nothing special, really. I just kept practicing and that was it. On day 7, I focused heavily on my left hand until I got super comfortable with it. I had reached a master level of juggling with my left hand. But with 4 balls, I was still pure garbage. I could do 4 throws just fine, but anything more than that, straight trash. And after trying over and over again to get good with the 4-ball juggle, I decided to call it quits. I just couldn't do it. I gave it my best and it just wasn't enough. This wasn't a complete failure though, because I did manage to get really good with the 3-ball juggle.
Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss.
I can do it with socks too.
They kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a f, that's what
I can even juggle Rubik's cubes.
And I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a f, I don't care.
So that was it. That was my failed attempt at learning to juggle 4 balls. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to see me try and learn more new skills. Thanks for watching and peace.